Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the One Bitcoin Show. Today is September the 23rd, 2019. Strong hand, be a unique beast, value your wealth in Bitcoin. Having hype, one Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin. Offended by selling, Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. Hello, my elite friends. Welcome to the show. Follow me on Twitter, TECHBALT. Check out all the archives, disruptmeister.com. The Beyond Bitcoin show was great on Saturday and Fridays this week in Bitcoin with Guy Swan, Christian, and Jeff Vandrew was also awesome. This Friday, Caitlin Long will be on the This Week in Bitcoin show. So prepare for that. I'm giving you plenty of time to prepare. She'll tell us what happened in Wyoming and all sorts of great discussions, no doubt about it. Hey, yesterday's show, thanks for the support. Henry Law, you sent 50 Hong Kong dollars to me, and anyone can do that with the super chat, or you can just retweet me. That's a great way to support me. TechBalt, TECHBALT. But Henry Law of the Hong Kong dollar fame, long live Hong Kong, the next 100x altcoin won't be any of the existing ones, he says. Many bag holders of old 2017 alts, are happy to leave at their break-even points. New alts have much freer room for price discovery. Well, I think you mean newer alts will have more gamblers gambling on them, and we have no idea which ones will 100x, and it's totally insane to gamble on them. But there'll be one that does better than current alts. So just hold your Bitcoin. Pound that like button. All right. Oh, man. So out of Korea, we were just talking about Hong Kong there. Thank you, Henry, again. But there is a new wallet, the Decent wallet. It's a hardware wallet. Biometrics authentication built in, fingerprint scanner adds convenience and enhanced security for access control and fast transaction signing. I found out about this because of when I was doing my research on the Wyoming event that just happened, and they were there with their wallet, and it looks pretty cool to use a fingerprint to work your hardware wallet. That's a little bit different than the Trezor. So I linked to it below. Tell me what you think about it. Hey, compete, don't complain. I'm glad there's more competition in the hardware wallet space. I had not heard of these guys before. Again, they're out of Korea. Decentwallet.com, linked to below with your fingerprints. Yeah, that's great. Biometrics, all right. So let's go to another part of the world. I'm taking you all around the world. I just all of a sudden wanted to sing Roller Coaster of Love for some reason. Pound that like button. Roller coaster. All right. Now, I'm probably thinking of another song. It's about going around the world, but I'm just thinking about roller coaster. All right. South Africa's banking strike. What you need to know according to the banks. All right. So people who work at banks in South Africa are going to go on strike on Friday. The Banking Association, and we'll tie this into Bitcoin. Well, first of all, Bitcoin never goes on strike. Pound that like button. That's one of the bigger takeaways from this, but there's a little bit more. The Banking Association South Africa, BASA, says that its members are taking the necessary precautions to minimize disruption and inconvenience customers ahead of the proposed protest action on Friday, the 27th of September. In a statement on Monday, that's today, BASA said that banks will be operating as usual on that day. However, in case of unavoidable disruptions at branches, bank customers should, as far as possible, make use of digital banking services, it said. The union is upset with the increased digitalization of banking practices. It's caused significant retrenchments at many of our major banks, including 1,200 job losses at 91 Standard Bank branches. The workforce have had enough. And unless groundbreaking interventions are made by the end of the week, a banking shutdown will grip South Africa. Now, South Africa is pretty statist. I wouldn't be shocked if eventually the government mandates that all banks have to hire a certain amount of bank tellers. But banks are realizing they don't need bank tellers anymore. In the United States, I bet we won't have bank tellers at all by the end of the 2020s. There might be people who work in the banks, but they're becoming useless. I mean, everything could be digital. Everything could be turned into a machine. A machine could do everything. And so these people are angry in South Africa. They're going to go on strike. Okay, let them go on strike. But is Bitcoin forcing? It's gonna put pressure on these guys in the future to digitalize, because obviously Bitcoin is totally digital. So the regular fiat banks are competing with something that is totally nimble and digital, hires no one, needs no employees to work correctly. You save your money in Bitcoin, you save your Bitcoin, you control your own private key. You don't need anyone to look at, you don't need to withdraw it, you don't need to log into some website to access it, and maybe the website's down because the bank got shut down. Bitcoin doesn't run out. Bitcoin doesn't have bank runs. A bank run could happen because of this, by the way, because some people are worried they're not going to be able to get their money. They might pull all their money out on Thursday. Who knows what could happen there? But it's interesting to see that maybe, and if these banks want to compete with Bitcoin, they're going to have to become more digital, which will force them to fire more people, which will create more angry union members, et cetera, et cetera. So there's your little tie-in there. But the biggest takeaway is that Bitcoin doesn't go on strike. And if you're in South Africa, I don't know why you still have a bank account with Rand in it. I don't get it, man. I mean, you can just have a credit card to pay for your stuff, can't you? All right, if you need to use fiat, well, you do need to use fiat. Sometimes you got to buy necessities. I understand that. All right. So you do need something. Okay, yeah. If you have I don't get the way crypto is right now, the way Bitcoin is right now. You could set up a system already where you don't need a bank in South Africa. Here's a better statement. If you have a bank account in South Africa, you should be keeping as little fiat in there as possible. You should have most of your savings in Bitcoin, of course. That's the bottom line of this whole channel forever. Moving on, Bakkt started. We're live. Pound that like button, they said. No, I said that. The first Bakkt Bitcoin futures trade was executed at 8:02 p.m. last night at a price of $10,115. Now, Zushu says Bakkt will be likely first a trickle and then a flood. The reality is that most regulated futures contracts get low adoption on day one, simply because not all futures brokers are ready to clear it. Many people want to wait and see. The tickers are not even populated on risk systems, etc. Okay, I mean, you financialization people, you can play in that realm. I'm glad it's happening in Bitcoin. Welcome to the big boys, Bakkt. If you want to play with Bakkt, play with Bakkt. For me, I keep it as simple as possible. Just buy and hold that Bitcoin on your hardware storage device. Maybe now biometrics, maybe thumbprint. Who knows? But in that thread that's talking about Bakkt, some guy, and this is all linked to below. This is traditional advice here. I see where this guy is coming from. He says it's wise to have a percent of your assets with a regulated custodian. This is called risk management. All right, dude. Pre-Bitcoin, this may have been true. But man, you be your own freaking custodian, dude. With Bitcoin, it's not risk management. You're letting a custodian control your private key. That seems to be increasing risk in my mind. If you're letting someone else control your private key, yeah, That's Bitcoin is the opposite of what you think you should. But I will say this, you traditional investors, some of you are just going to blindly do what you've always done. What this guy said, to have a percent of your assets with a regulated custodian. You're going to keep all your Bitcoin with a regulated custodian, probably some of you people, but no, that is not risk management. Bitcoin, for me, Bitcoin is, you're supposed to be your own bank. You're supposed to control your own. Do you trust yourself? Do you not trust yourself? Trust yourself. It's better than trusting a third party, a custodian, man. All right, so yeah, that's some old-fashioned advice that Bitcoin just totally upends and reverses. All right, JW Weatherman had a very interesting tweet out there that goes into the realm of the wrench attack. I know there's so many people ask me about the wrench attack because just so many people in this world know that some regular dude out there who's never really publicly said they own Bitcoin. So people know you have Bitcoin for some reason, and they're going to jack you on the street because they just know you have Bitcoin, and they're going to start beating the heck out of you because they know you have Bitcoin. I mean, come on, people. We're so early in this game that if you have Bitcoin, you really don't have to worry about the wrench attack if you're not a public figure. If you're just some regular Joe, you got Bitcoin, you have a half a Bitcoin somewhere. The wrench attack, you really just got to be, and you see, that's the thing. People start worrying about these far-fetched attacks, and then they're keeping their Bitcoin at Coinbase. But for some people that, I think JW in this tweet is talking about people that there are some people who publicly have made it publicly stated that they own Bitcoin. And so I think those people in this day and age still are pretty darn safe walking on I don't want to jinx anything, but there's just not that many robbers yet who are really into the Bitcoin type of thing. I mean, if you're like hooked on crack, you just break into somebody's house. They don't care if you own Bitcoin. They just want $10. Okay, it's something they can give. And then there's some more sophisticated robbers that they steal your car, blah blah blah. Bitcoin really, it's not really a thing yet. Once it does become that, the price of Bitcoin is going to be quite high. It'll be worth their while. They'll be like, oh, Bitcoin's worth it's in the 6-digit realm. I better learn how to rob these things and target these. So this advice that JW gave will be really good then. And again, I don't want to underplay things. You can still get wrench attacked, especially if you've made it public. Someone could trick you like, hey, let's hang out. I love you. And you're so, like some people who value their wealth in women and value their wealth in Bitcoin, they could get, they could be at a bar one day and some woman approaches them, and that's how they could end up being a wrench attack. So in that case, if you own significant Bitcoin, this is what JW said, if you own significant Bitcoin and don't always carry a handgun, you're ignoring your most cost-effective option. Okay, so he's got a legitimate point out there. For all these people trying to worry about how much they have to spend to have the same computer model of storing your Bitcoin that Trace Mayer has, the most effective the most effective way of protecting yourself from really losing your Bitcoin. Because again, if you've got your Trezor, it's safe. But then if you've got your Trezor and somebody comes up knows that you got it on you and can physically harm you and like put you in a headlock and say, you're getting everything out of here and you're sending it to this address. Well, yeah, the handgun is very cost effective. Very. It's pretty cheap. That's, it's a one-time cost. You got now in some, again, be careful. I'm not telling you to do this because in some states it's illegal and everything like that. But he is very good. Always carry a handgun. You're ignoring your most cost-effective option. Yeah, against the wrench attack, that's the most cost-effective option right there. All right, dudes. Vention. Vention publicly states he's got the Bitcoin. You don't know what his real name is, of course. But at the same time, he's always showing he's got a freaking gun next to his Bitcoin. So, and he's a dude who he still worries about getting wrench attacked. I think he's got nothing over. Trust me. If someone's thinking about wrench attacking a public figure, and they see one of those public figures is always like brandishing a handgun on his videos, they're not going to worry. They're not going to try to find out who he really is. Okay. I'm Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, this Rupp Meister. That's not really who I am. Remember to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video. Check out the links below. Pound that like button. Bang that bell button. And yeah, click on those squares. Shirts like this you can get linked to below. All sorts of ways to support the show. See you.